You know what's really sad? What's really sad is that people post those the self ninja videos. You know, like the kid with the
karate chop and the Judy chop.
Yeah, remember the one where the guy he beats up the bad Bob dummy and he falls all over the place.
Oh yeah.
Somebody who's a friend of mine just sent me another one of those, and it's a completely different guy, but it's kind of the same thing. Where I feel bad for him. You know, I mean, I don't even think it's funny. It's it's not funny. It's just sad.
I wonder if they post it or if they have they do that video and they think they're gonna look good, and then they watch it and they're like, I need to get this out of here. And then their friend finds it, and then they. I
don't know. I mean, I got to think that. What's that kid that is killing all the pop bottles with like machetes and hatchets and stuff? Yeah, he fills 2-liter bottles full of water. And
for all of you guys in Texas that are listening, because you're our number one state, pop is also known as soda.
Soda? Is it soda?
I just wanted to clear that up for them.
Oh, did they not know that?
I don't know. I think they call it soda there.
Really?
I know that it's called soda here, and I don't know where.
Pop is a northern thing.
Pop. Oh, it's only northern.
Pop okay. Is not New England.
South Dakota. I didn't say New England. I said northern.
Oh, northern. Yeah, like Michigan. People from Michigan call it pop. When you say pop down here, they make funny faces at you.
Have you been to South Dakota?
Yeah, I've been to South Dakota. I've been to Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
We had somebody email me and ask.
Hey, Sioux Falls, what's up?
Something about SOTG on tour, and they want to host a class up there. So I
in South Dakota,
specs. Yeah,
in the summertime.
I gave them the specs and I gave them the prices.
Oh, okay.
And so we'll see what happens. That's a good time to.
We should start naming out cities.
Yeah, if you
Student of the Gun, #1 firearms-related radio show in Fort Worth, Dallas. Dallas-Fort Worth. Thank you for tuning in, Dallas-Fort Worth. Thank you for tuning in, Des Moines, Iowa. But you know, it's speaking of geography, and I know you were speaking of geography just now. When we put together those books, hey, folks, I'll let you in on a little hint here. We actually had a packing party here at the Student of the Gun Studios. Well, I don't know if packing party was really because it really wasn't a party. It was a fest. So we had all those books that needed to go out, all the 5 strategies books. And they all came in at once, because that's what happens when they come in from the publisher. They come in a great big, big brown boxes. So we had to sit down and we had to get all the addresses and all the books and all the envelopes and all everything and assemble them. And I noticed this, Jared, because I actually looked at addresses, and I don't usually do that. I'm not the shipping guy. That's Zach. I don't usually ever see. If an order comes in for a shirt or a hat or T-shirt, I said hat. We don't have hats. Whatever. We will soon. But anyway, if those things come in, I don't ever see them. They just get handled. But in this case, I actually saw all of these orders, and I noticed this, that the vast majority of the orders were not from major metropolitan areas. They were from cities that you probably never heard of. But what was distinctly absent was New York City, Chicago, Los Angeles, that kind of stuff.
It's because it was part of the grad program. The grad program was the only one that had access to those books.
Right. It was grad program people apparently do not live in Chicago.
Yeah, they're smarter than that.
Yeah, they're smarter than that. They knew to move. But, it was interesting to me that basically our audience is like salt of the earth audience kind of people. Now, if you're living in Chicago right now, my condolences, and I hope you have a good escape plan planned out for you there. Do you want to start talking about stuff and junk? Well, we got a bunch of theme song related stories for you guys. And oh, hey, by the way, my name is Professor Paul Markle, and the guy who's talking to you on the other side of the glass there is Jared, my co-host and producer of Student of the Gun, and we are in the official Glass Case of Emotion Studios. And it's getting hot out down here on the Gulf Coast. Oh, in case you guys were wondering, yes, we did get the septic pump replaced, and now we can use the toilet even when it's raining. So that is a good thing. We have working plumbing here at the set. Because remember last week we talked, we were having all the storms, and the power went out, and then the septic tank stopped working, and it was just not a fun time. Well, it's more fun now because we have electricity and we have working plumbing. So, yeah, go team. This following segment is brought to you by Brownells. If you have a gun, Brownells has something for you. I can guarantee it. So check them out at brownells.com. Velocity triggers, designed for precision. You have a black rifle? You do. You want to put a new trigger in that because you want to shoot long-range competition. You want to do precision shooting. You want to hunt with your gun. Any of those kind of things that require a precise trigger. Well, check those guys out. I guarantee you that you will be satisfied. If you're not, well, I don't know what to tell you. But if you're not, they will hook you up because they're good people. And we spent some time with them. Well, we spent time with everybody, with Brownells and with Velocity Triggers and with Crossbreed Holsters at the NRA annual meeting. And that's the last person I'm going to talk about, or group or organization. If you want to tote a blaster, and you should want to tote a blaster, Crossbreed Holsters has basically everything you need to tote a blaster in some form or fashion. And if you have a blaster that is a common design, they will help you out. As a matter of fact, if you check out their website on a regular basis, they're constantly upgrading and updating their number of designs and makes and models of holsters that they're making. All right, so that being that, we've got a Religion of Peace update for you guys, and we haven't given you one of these in a while. It's been, a couple of weeks? I'm kind of depressed over here, so I haven't heard my theme song.
Das geht an die Oma des letzten Propheten Mohammed sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ich bin Allah so dankbar, ein Muslim sein zu dürfen. Das geht an die Oma, wir sind die Oma. Check das aus. Bismillah.
Thanks, Mixmaster Jazzy Jared. Jared he's whipped out his DJ skills there and did a little bit of mix mastering for our Religion of Peace and Brotherhood update theme. This story comes to us from a source that is, quite frankly, it's a socialist piece of garbage, but it's Yahoo News. And you guys all know, if you're smart, that you go to Yahoo, and it's basically filth and distraction and garbage. But this story's been repeated numerous times, over and over and over again. And the original source was Reuters. Ohio man who trained with Islamic militants charged with supporting terrorism. Now, hang on a second. You mean someone that went over to the desert, went over and played in the sandbox, got his little jihad on, was able to come back to the United States to threaten the people here? Now, hang on, Jared. That doesn't make any sense, does it? I thought, according to the head of the Department of Homeland Security, that he was keeping a close eye on these people. Well, how about just not letting them into the country? How about that for an idea? All right, Dateline, Washington, Reuters. A Columbus, Ohio man who trained with Islamic militants in Syria has been arrested and charged with supporting terrorism and making false statements. Oh, there's the terrorism charge, but then there's the false statements charge. I don't know how he's going to get around that one. I hope he's got a good attorney, because he's been charged with making false statements. So, dude goes over to the desert, trains with ISIS, comes back into the country, because apparently we're just going to let people do that, and he's being charged with supporting terrorism and making false statements. The U.S. Justice Department said on Thursday, Abrahimaman Sheikh Mohammed, whatever. Durka Jihad. Mohammed Jihad. 23, a naturalized American. Now, was he born here? I'm going to go ahead and say no. A naturalized American had been instructed by a Muslim cleric to return to the United States and carry out acts of terrorism, said a federal indictment. Again, why did we let him in? Oh, we have to. We can't stop people from coming into the country. Just because they're fighting with ISIS doesn't mean we have to have the right to stop them from coming into our country. I mean, come on. The indictment said Mahmoud told an associate. He told an associate, like a Walmart associate. because they have associates there at Walmart. He told an associate that he wanted to go to a military base in Texas and kill 3 or 4 American soldiers execution style. And that's in quotes. Mohamud's brother was killed fighting with the Nusra Front, a Syrian-based affiliate of Al-Qaeda. Now, stop. Let's put a pin in that one. I thought that Comrade Barry told us that Al-Qaeda was crushed and on the run. They don't seem to be on the run, but that might have been a mistake on the part of Comrade Barry. Before leaving Syria, Mohamud had posted material on a social media website promoting symbols of the Islamic militant group, said the indictment. A law enforcement official said, however, that once in Syria, Mohamud and his brother, Aiden, trained with Nusra. Oh, you mean the Syrian-based affiliate of Al-Qaeda. So we knew all this stuff. So they knew all that stuff. But they still let him into the country. According to the indictment, Mohamud obtained a U.S. passport and purchased a one-way ticket to Greece. He left the United States in April 2014, but instead of flying to Greece, he went to Istanbul, Turkey, and then on to Syria. Johnny, what do we have for Mohamud? Well, we have a government-paid attorney, and we have dozens of liberal puke-faced scumbags lining up to defend his right to say whatever he wants. In Syria, he sent videos of himself to an unnamed person. Now, that's just cruel, Jared. That is cruel.
It is.
How could a parent not name their child? Don't you think that's cruel? I think it is. I mean, what kind of a parent has a child and decides, I'm not going to give this kid a name? This kid is just going to be known as child, as kid, as person. I'm not going to give him a name. I mean, that's what it says in the story. It says he sent videos.
So special.
He sent videos of himself to an unnamed person, which I just think is wrong right there.
That's what you get for thinking. I don't even. I can't do
He doesn't even know it. He's like,
I can't do it anymore.
I don't know why they didn't name, why his parents. That is a story for another day. Why this person, we don't even know if it's a male or a female. See, this is like a gender-neutral identity. This poor individual, not only is this poor individual unnamed, but this individual doesn't even know what sex it is. It is a gender-neutral creature.
Maybe that's why they didn't choose a name, because they didn't know whether it's a boy or girl.
That could be. That is a good point.
But they're also neutral names.
I'm glad that you brought that up. That's what the indictment said. According to the indictment. Okay. In one video, he pointed a gun to a gun in a holster on his hip, and in another, he stood in front of a White House, small W, small h, with a black flag on it. Why's it got to be black? Why's it got to be white? Why couldn't it be a black house with a white
he put
flag?
White and black together, so.
Oh, okay. All right. Rock on. I see. It's like ebony and ivory. All right.
Yeah.
Upon his return to the United States, little Johnny Jihad's back from his vacation. The indictment said Mohamud told an unidentified person. Now, hang on. Is the unidentified person the same as
Can they stop putting these descriptions in there, please?
As the unnamed person? He told something or someone, okay, that while in Syria, he had been trained in shooting weapons. Why would you want to shoot weapons? What did the weapons ever do to you? I don't understand. Is this Yahoo News I'm reading here? It is. It's Yahoo News I'm reading. See, he was breaking into houses using explosives and hand-to-hand combat. I'm looking at a picture of Mr. Mohamud here, and I'm not really thinking I'm like really impressed by Mr. Mohamud. I think we could take him. What do you think, Jared? Think we could take him?
Yeah. Where are we going to take him? Are we going to take him back to Syria?
Yeah. I feel pretty confident that go ahead there, homie.
Just throw a goat out there.
Air an opportunity, brother. Air an opportunity. According to these indictments said a lot of stuff. According to the indictment, Mohamud also said he's not done. He's talking to unidentified people. He's talking to unnamed people. But he's not done. He also said that just before he was about to start fighting with militants in Syria, a cleric connected with an unspecified.
So he was fighting with militants? Like he was fighting with them,
he was fighting.
He was training with them?
I would think it should say alongside.
Yeah. He
but
was
whatever.
Fighting with them, so...
This is a Yahoo News story. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
A cleric, a holy man, a representative of the religion of peace and brotherhood, connected with an unspecified militant group, told him that he should return to the United States and, quote, carry out an act of terrorism.
That's what they say? They say that?
Apparently they did.
Carry out an act of terrorism?
Whatever.
They don't say go blow people up?
Well, no, they say Dirk Allah, Muhammad Jihad. A law enforcement official identified the cleric as a representative of the Nusra Front. According to the indictment, again, who writes these stories?
Maybe indictments.
Mohamud wanted to kill Americans and specifically wanted to target armed forces, police officers, and uniformed individuals as opposed to uninformed individuals.
Uniformed.
That's right. The indictment said his plan was to attack a U.S. military base, but we know that that would be fruitless and it wouldn't work because all of our soldiers are armed to defend themselves, especially in Texas. Oh, that's right. They're still not. We've only had 2 terrorist attacks on Fort Hood. Apparently, they want to have a third before they think about considering allowing our warriors in uniform to be armed. Okay.
We don't want to have warriors in uniform.
No.
No, we want to have yes men.
Yes, okay.
Well, and yes women.
So anyway, long story short, Mohammed initially was arrested in February in Columbus and held by local law enforcement authorities. The official said Mohammed was transferred to federal custody on Thursday. So this crap has been brewing for a couple of months now. And what did we tell you? Well, we told you, and you know what? I can guarantee you, remember when we did a story about little Johnny Jihad coming back from vacation and the Department of Homeland Security admitting? Now, here's what we know. Let's go ahead and put 1 and 1 and 2 together here. Here's what we know. We know that this puke face came back. We know that local law enforcement had tagged him and put their hands on him back in February. Now, the story that we broke last week, or that we shared with you last week, about the whatever that Comrade Barry's appointee to the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, admitted that there were little Johnny Jihads who had gone over to play with ISIS and were now back in the United States, but don't worry about it. So what he essentially did is he knew that this story about little Mr. Durka Mahmoud in Columbus, he knew that story was going to break. And this is called getting out in front of a story, folks. If you don't know what that means, this is what it is. This is the definition. They knew this was going to come out. They knew that when they transferred this guy from local custody to federal custody, that, the reporters would get word of it and they would write a story. So what he did is he got out in front of that story, knowing that this was going to break. So it would seem like he could say, well, yeah, we got him and we know, but it's cool because we know what's going on. We have eyes on these dudes. Now, my question to you as a thinking individual, a thinking American citizen is, okay, so we got one little puke-faced jihadist here, and they're charging him with making false statements. All right, cool. How many else are there that are running around that are not currently in custody? How many did we allow to travel to Syria to train with ISIS and then allow back into the United States?
They said 140, which means it probably at least 500.
Yeah, what did we talk about yesterday? Like when they admit a number, multiply it by 2 or 3 or 4.
Or 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever. I can't even... It's bad when it gets to a point where you can't even trust the people that are representing you.
Well, the people whose main job it is to keep us safe. That's your job. Keep the bad people out of the United States. Don't let them come in. Well, we just can't stop people from coming into America. That would be hard. And it would require serious effort. And we might actually have to profile terrorists. And we know that profiling terrorists is wrong. And you should never do that because it hurts their feelings. So we'll just let them in. and then we'll monitor them. Kind of like they told Mike Deddy to transfer all these rifles and handguns to the Mexican drug cartels, because don't worry, we're going to closely monitor those people, and we're not. Yeah. You want to read a story about incompetence? You want to read a story about people that have the authority but not the ability? Read Operation Wide Receiver by Mike Deddy. And I got to believe, Jared, that given the current climate, the current Department of Justice, and the people that are populating the current Department of Justice, that when they tell us, well, we know that these people who are trained terrorists, we know that they're back in the country, but we don't want you to be concerned because we're monitoring them. Yeah, that makes me feel better. That helps me sleep at night. Okay. And we thought you ought to know about that. So, hey, do with it what you will. Okay, well, we're about halfway through the show already here on Tuesday. Whew, it's crazy. The following segment of Student of the Gun Radio, the sweetest smelling radio that you're going to find, is brought to you by SWAT Fuel, special weapons and tactics for your body. For the body. For your body.
For your body.
For your body.
What were you singing earlier?
Shake that body. I don't know. What was I singing earlier? Was I singing?
Beastie Boys. Beastie Boys song.
I don't know. I had the Beastie Boys CD on the truck as I was driving around
today.
You say CD? Yeah, CD. A compact disc. It's shiny and silver on one side, and I can use it as a signal mirror.
He still uses CDs.
I can use a signal mirror. You're like, a signal mirror? What the heck?
CD.
Never mind. I have a CD player in my truck. Shut up. But I also have one of those little. I have one of those little import jacky things. Those little things you plug a thing in so you can play with your phone. Music with your phone.
I have a little Bluetooth thingy.
Yeah, no, I don't have that.
Or a little USB port where you plug in a flash drive.
I have a white tooth.
Oh.
Hey, you got me off track, hippie. Shut up. And also, in addition to SWAT Fuel, Century Arms. Century Arms, the sweetest smelling arms dealer in America. No, that's not true. I don't know if they're sweet smelling or not. But they do make the C39 100% made in the USA AK. AK rifles, AK pistols. The AK, the micro pistol, which is so choice. You need
I guess it really depends on who you're talking about, because Dina always smells good.
Well, yeah, Dina.
But Jacob,
I don't want to get close enough to smell him. So.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jacob, but I just don't want to get close enough to smell you.
We like you.
Sorry.
But not that much.
Dina, on the other hand, totally different story. Yeah. But I digress. Century Arms is not only a sponsor of Student Gun Radio, but the mobile app, which you could download right now if you weren't picking your nose. So go ahead and do it. Download the mobile app. Put it on your phone. Put it on your iPad.
They didn't know that you could see them.
That's right. I saw you. Stop it. All right. This next one, we haven't had one of these in a while either. Did we have one last week? Did we have a Go Team moment last week? I can't remember if we did or not.
We do so much stuff that I don't know.
Well, we've got one today, and Jared's going to bump us in. Bump, 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 bump.
That's why I say amen, I shine.
Thank you, Filter. And that was a nice shot, man. All right, this story comes to us from Breitbart.com. Teenager allegedly rapes homeowner at gunpoint, gets shot and killed by neighbor. Rock on. And with this story just broke, we got this story. It popped up as we were doing yesterday's show. The dateline is April 13th. A 17-year-old allegedly broke into a Gadsden, Alabama home and raped the female homeowner at gunpoint.
Do you want me to play the video here, or do you want to just talk about it?
Do you think we really need that?
I don't know. I didn't listen to it.
No, I don't think we really need it. It's the typical
blah blah blah.
And, well, you know what? Go ahead and play it, and I'm going to point out just a little bit of media hypocrisy.
All right.
15. Home invasion case in Gadsden, where police say a 17-year-old who was shot and killed in a front yard was one of 3 people who broke into a woman's home down the street and then ended up being shot by her neighbor.
The homeowner says one of the men put a gun to her head and raped her. Fox 6 News reporter Melanie Posey joins us now in Gadsden. Melanie, this was a brazen attack.
It was, Janet, and you guys mentioned that 17-year-old that was shot and killed. We are waiting word from police to find out if the other two suspects or men that were involved in this situation, if they have been arrested at this point in time. Now, at this point, Gadsden police have not released any names of those involved in the situation. However, they have told us what the victim in this case says happened. Gadsden police say it was around 3 o'clock Monday morning that 3 men kicked in the door of this home on Norris Avenue. Inside, a 37-year-old woman. Here's what she told police, that while 2 of the men ransacked her home, the third one, a 17-year-old, raped her at gunpoint. Eventually, the 2 men left, but the teen stayed behind, and while beating her in the head with a gun, demanded cash. She says she told the would-be robber her neighbor kept all of her money. Then, holding her at gunpoint, the teen walked her to the neighbor's home. That man lives in this trailer outside of a neighborhood business. The woman said she knocked on her neighbor's door, telling him she needed her money because she was being attacked. Seeing the woman standing outside, the neighbor called 911. The woman says her attacker overheard the call and fired twice in the air before aiming the gun at the man. That is when the neighbor, who was armed himself, shot once at the 17-year-old, hitting him with a fatal shot. Tuesday, those who lived in the neighborhood said they were shocked to hear what had happened, but see it as a wake-up call.
It's a blessing that the guy was at home where the lady could get his attention. And maybe to just get our neighbors to look out and kindly pay attention and help our other neighbors out. That's, and try to keep our neighborhood safe.
And we do know that.
Wow.
That goes back to what I was talking about a while ago. Remember saying that it's up to the community to keep everybody safe?
Yeah, this news lady, I like how she refers to it as the 17-year-old who was involved in the situation. You mean the home invasion? You mean the felony? Well, the situation.
But he's a teen.
This teen who is involved in the forcible rape at gunpoint felony, it's a situation. He was allegedly involved in the situation. He allegedly fired his gun at the guy who was in the camper trailer and allegedly pointed the gun at the victim, allegedly.
How do you have enough balls to do that and then walk the lady to the neighbor's house?
Because you're an animal. You're a piece of human filth.
That's insane.
You are an oxygen thief.
Oxygen thief no more.
Yeah, no kidding. So, well, rock on. Here's the deal. Good news. Hey, man, nice shot. That oxygen thief will be raping no more. He will be robbing no more. So good job.
Well, you just want people to be killed.
I want vermin to die. I want rapists to die. I want people that break into innocent women's homes and beat them and hold them at gunpoint and rape them. Yeah, I want them to not be around anymore. You got me. You got me. Yep. I want them to not be breathing up all the good oxygen anymore. No, I don't want them to get their day in court. Really, their day in court? Let me tell you what.
Released on
parole,
the
recidivist
and
criminals
go rape some more people.
Let me guess. When they're like, well, they're looking for the men who were involved in this situation to see if they're yeah. And here's the deal, folks. I mean, go team. The one dude is now worm food. So go team moment, rock on. But the other two are still out there roaming around. And you're like, well, they'll certainly learn their lesson. They'll go somewhere else. No, that's actually not how it works. It's the opposite. And let me tell you what, if you are ever the victim of a crime, I hope that you are not. But if you're the victim, if your home is victimized, what have you, the chances of it happening again are actually very high. They're not the opposite. Everyone thinks like, well, they got me. They broke in and they got me, but they wouldn't be brazen enough to come back again. Yeah, actually, they would. That's what they do. That's the MO. That's the modus operandi for you guys out there. I always want to say for you and Rio Linda, but I don't want to steal Rush's bit. So for those of you that went to public school in the last 20 years, that's my bit. But, folks, let me tell you what. I'm sorry that this woman was not armed, that she didn't have – apparently she wasn't armed. Point number two, the Good Samaritan is actually lucky to be alive. because instead of acting, okay, if you see someone like holding your neighbor woman at gunpoint and demanding money and stuff, and you have a gun and a phone, I'm going to go ahead and give you some tactical advice here. The tactical advice is to grab the gun first and address the immediate threat. If it's the difference between making a phone call and stopping the threat, you need to stop the threat first. Well, but I've been told to dial 911. Yeah, I understand that. You've been told that. Why are you dialing 911? Who are you calling? Well, what do you mean, who am I calling? I'm calling the police. Why do you want the police to come? Why do you want the police to come? Because there's an armed guy outside your door holding someone hostage. Why do you want the police to come? Well, because they come and they have guns and they can... Oh, you want a man with a gun to come and solve the problem. Is that correct? Well, yeah. Dudes... Whew. Man, I feel bad. I mean, I feel bad for this woman. She's going to be traumatized for a long time. There's no getting around that.
Dude, this news story.
Go ahead.
It doesn't. Every single sentence, it either says 17-year-old or teenager.
Teen.
Literally.
The teen. The teenager. The teen. The Ute. Does it say Ute? Are they Utes? The Ute. The 17-year-old, the teen, the teenager, the 17-year-old. Piss off. I'm sorry. I don't care what your chronological age is. If you decide to commit a forcible rape, you don't get to hide behind the verbiage of teen. The teen. Really? The teen? The teen rapist? The teen animal? The teen vermin? You know what's missing? The only thing missing from this story is the teen's mama to come out and stand in front of the camera and say, what a good boy he was. And he was going to go to college, and he just had some bad friends.
Well, last week, the dude that had the baby that got attacked, he called it. He said that this is kids that aren't going to go home to their parents, and justifiably so. And in this case, that happened.
Yep, you don't get to go home.
Your actions are...
He was a good boy, and he was going to go to college. And
your life is a direct consequence. He just has some bad
friends.
It's a direct consequence of your actions.
I want them to pull this kid's, this puke-faced scumbag, I want them to pull his juvenile record and make it public. Oh, I can't do that. Because $100 right on this table says that this was not the first incident. This was not the first time little precious baby teenage boy was involved in something nefarious. But we don't want to talk about that anymore. We're going to give you something a little bit more, well, it's disturbing, but it's going to start out funny. Jared, are you ready? Because I think Kurt is waiting with bated breath. He's out there. He's like, come on, Jared.
All right. I'll hit the button.
Tiptoe through the window, by the window, that is where I'll be. Come tiptoe through the tulips with me.
Bum, bum. Okay, this story is super 100% vag-tastic, and thank you, Tiny Tim, for giving us that theme song and bringing us in. And thank you, Kurt, for loving that song so much it makes Jared want to play it. This comes to us from FoxNews.com. Planned fallen soldier monument in Michigan Veterans Memorial. In Michigan Veterans Memorial, it says Mich, period. Causes controversy over prominence of gun. I'm sorry, what now? That's right. Apparently, there's enough vaginas, vajayjays, in Michigan that a soldier's memorial that has an inverted M16 with a helmet on it, which is what they do when they're honoring the dead. They invert the rifle and they put the helmet on it. Apparently, that has some people all kind of bunged up there in Michigan. All right, according to the story, a planned monument that would serve as a final piece of the Veterans Memorial in a Detroit suburb has caused controversy over its prominent depiction of a military rifle. Yeah, you wouldn't want a military rifle in a memorial for soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. That would just be so out of place. And Bear Hall, the chairman of the local chapter of the Friends of the American Veterans in Milford, Michigan, earlier this month proposed placing a sculpture of a battlefield cross at the end of a brick walkway leading out to the present Veterans Memorial. The battlefield cross, which is a military helmet adorned with dog tags, perched atop of a stock of an automatic rifle. It's an M16. Just call it what it is.
No, it has to be an automatic rifle.
With its barrel pointing downward on a pair of combat boots. You guys have seen pictures of it. We've been doing it for a long, long time, and it's become a very, very... It says it goes as far back as the Civil War, the tradition. Hall told the Free Press he approached the Village Council's Parks and Rec Commission about adding the just over 4-foot sculpture of the battlefield cross on a 4-foot base. He said he was told by some council member that the icon might be inappropriate as a centerpiece for the park.
It's a freaking vet memorial.
Here we go. Continuing on. Here's a quote from a village manager. It says, there was some concern from a couple of members. Say who they are. Don't be a vag. A couple of members regarding the specific memorial that's proposed. Specifically, the gun. Milford Village Manager Christian Wuth sold the Free Press. That's the Detroit Free Press. They understood the history and the meaning of it. They just didn't... Here we go. Here's the big F word. They just didn't feel it was appropriate for that specific location. Being a veteran, I want to see I'm sorry. This has got me really...
It's so stupid.
This has me really assed up. Can I say assed up?
Yep.
Okay, I'm allowed, according to Jared. Being a veteran, I want to see a monument there. Yes, comma, qualifier, Councilman Tom Nader said, according to the Free Press. I just don't think this is the proper one.
We don't care what you think.
You know what, Tom? You're a vag. You're a vajayjay. You're a puke face. It scares me. I don't like the image of a gun. You know what? What do you want our soldiers and Marines to use to defeat evil across the world? Do you want them to use their feelings? Maybe we should talk with the enemy. Maybe we should hand out jobs. Like Marie Harf says, maybe we should send soldiers overseas to pass out leaflets or
Tom
job
Nader,
applications.
He got checked by Jennifer Frankfurt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Tom got checked by
Tom,
Jennifer.
You might want to tell your wife, if you have one, or your husband, I don't know how you roll, and it's not really any of my business, that you need your testicles back for the next council meeting. One council member, Jennifer Frankfurt, disagreed with Nader. If it wasn't for the boots and the gun and the helmet, we wouldn't have all the freedoms that we have. Woo! That's right. Did that break your audio thing there?
No.
All right.
This is 2015. We have these things called limiters.
All right, good job. This is derpa. Here we go. That says the issue has been... First of all, why is this an issue? Why are we even talking about this? That's what's wrong with the United States of America today, is you can't just do the right thing because some puke-faced scumbag... is like, I don't know. I feel that it's gonna hurt. It might hurt someone's feelings. Hey, Michigan, take your freaking state back. Derp, we can't do that. It might hurt someone's feelings. Ladies and gentlemen, we've lost. If you can't, something as a traditional and just the upside down rifle with the helmet on it, which is the 100% the way that the military honors has fallen. Have you ever seen an overseas military service, a funeral overseas, where they're actually doing it in the field, where the men are standing by their fallen comrades? And you're all derped up because a brass statue might offend some feelings. Oh, we don't want to offend feelings. You know what people can do with those feelings? They can go pound sand. And you need to reach down between... It's a daggum shame that Jennifer has more testicles than Tom. Yeah, I called you out, Tom. Call me up. You wanted me to? I could refer him to our other website. Well, I can't. I can't do that right now. I can't refer him to our other website, but I could refer him to John Willis's other website.
So
John Willis would probably take his call.
Yeah. This is kind of funny. Hall, who is the dude that he's trying to get this memorial put up there, he said, if the council doesn't want it as a focal point, that's fine, but we don't want to see some foo-foo fountain either, he told the paper.
Oh,
he served in the U.S. Marine Corps.
Maybe we could plant some flowers.
Yeah.
We should plant some flowers. That wouldn't hurt people's feelings. It says, if people are worried about their kids seeing a gun, take away their video games and don't let them hunt, said Ron Dvorsky of the Friends of the... Yeah, okay. Oh, man. We didn't... Yeah, here we go. It says, everyone's thinking the same way we're thinking. We didn't win the war by throwing sticks and stones. That's right. You don't talk to your enemy. You shoot them. Washington didn't take Trenton and Princeton with pamphlets and leaflets.
Speaking of sticks and stones...
He took them with a bayonet.
Yeah. Speaking of sticks and stones, when I was in school, we had this saying, sticks and stones... I'm sure it was when you were in school, too. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Do they say that anymore? Because
I'm pretty sure they're forbidden.
Yeah, I would say they're like trying to ban speech now.
I think if you said that, if you said sticks and stones may break my bones, that you probably would get a special timeout. You would... I can almost guarantee you that you would be sent to a special counseling session, and they would say, Jared, why do you think that you should break people's bones? And why do you want to do that?
Well, they can't say, but words will never hurt me, because obviously words hurt.
Words
some
do
people.
hurt.
Yeah, they hurt.
Words do hurt.
You can't say some stuff because one person gets offended when you say it.
Oh, sweet Buddha. I've got a story. Did you see that story that I just tagged?
No.
And it says that it's a Whiskey Tango Foxtrot story that I just dropped in the bottom of the show notes. It popped up while we were doing our little dealio here. It actually popped up when I was opening the news story to the other one. We don't have time to talk about that, but it's kind of funny. And I haven't come up with a good phraseology for the Wicked Witch of the Chappaqua or whatever yet, and that's just too long. I mean, it works, but it's too long. So, because we don't say...
Well, we'll talk about that on Wednesday then.
Yeah, we can talk about that on Wednesday.
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
If it fits. Does it fit?
Why
we might have to talk about it on Friday.
Oh,
that
kind of thing.
Yeah, that kind of thing, yeah.
I haven't seen the story yet, so I'll just...
Oh, you didn't open it? You don't see the title of it?
No, I didn't even know you dropped something new in there until just now.
Oh, yeah, I dropped it like it was hot. Man, is it the end of Tuesday already?
Yep.
It's the end of Tuesday's show already. Hey, you know what people really seem to like? Everybody seemed to like our NRA after action show. I was talking to your mom today, and she monitors all the stuff. I'm not allowed to monitor the mail, folks. I'm not allowed to open the mail.
He doesn't have enough duct tape.
No, I'm not allowed to open the mail. It has to be open and read first, and then what's really important is sent to me. But that episode, the Student of the Gun NRA episode, was the #1 episode on iTunes, on the iTunes outdoor category. So I thought that was pretty cool. You guys must have really liked it. You must have really enjoyed it. And I'm sure that you don't just listen on iTunes. You listen on Stitcher or Pod Gallery or our mobile app or wherever you do. You know what, Jared? How can we encourage people to let us know how and where they listen to the show? Because there's so many different ways. Or do we even care? I don't know. Well, I mean, it's good that you're out there. I don't care what you're listening to.
Yeah,
I mean, you might be schizophrenic and listening to it on your liver. I don't care. Or the fillings in your teeth.
I don't.
You don't even know where to go with that?
It's time for us to go.
All right. Well, here's
I'm going to put him back in his cage.
No, shut up. I do have one thing to say. On a serious note, whatever it is that you listen to us on, unless it's the Student of the Gun mobile app, but if it's Pod Gallery or Podcast, what is it, Podcast Republic?
Yeah, that's like the iTunes for Android thing.
That's the Android iTunes. Yeah, they own it. Or it's iTunes or it's Stitcher or whatever. Do me a favor. If they have a rating system, leave a rating, especially on Stitcher. I'm serious. We do really well on the Stitcher ratings, but it's almost like they shut off the rating system. Like they don't allow people to... If you're listening to me with Stitcher right now, you know at least one of you is. I know you are. Do me a favor. Go and click on this.
I know Trent is. Trent.
Oh, is Trent? Does Trent listen on Stitcher?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yep.
All right, Trent, leave us a rating. Click on the thing. I want to see if it changes or if it's just it gets to a certain number and then they don't add anymore.
And if you already left us a rating on your phone, then have your friend download it. Do it on their phone.
Well, all right. We're going long again. That just keeps happening. I don't know.
Happens every time.
I'll put it on your tab. All right, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, and hippies, liberals, and freaks across the nation. Remember, you're a beginner once, but you should be a student for life.